that he can lead on this issue? What he says today, what impact will it have on you?
At this point, nothing. I don't understand. I agree with what Ron said about the importance of moral clarity, because we haven't had much from the president lately. But I don't agree that Ken Frazier should have waited. Why should he wait for the president of the United States to speak out clearly against white supremacists, murdering white supremacists? Donald Trump didn't wait more than 54 minutes to respond to Ken for criticizing him. He didn't even mention him by name. Ken Frazier didn't mention Trump by name. But Trump can't, even after 2 days, attack murdering a white supremacist. This is a tragedy of what's going on in America. I fear for our country when the President of the United States has no moral authority, no moral willingness to speak out against the clearest violation of our social norms. That's reprehensible.
Lou, what do you say? What's your reaction to what the president said?
I think the president went far in identifying not only the white supremacists, but all of the hate groups that were in Charlottesville. And I think as a country, we should not only identify one. If one looks at the circumstances surrounding the event, there were other groups there as well, also looking to create anarchy and hate. The time has come in this country that we identify all of those. And if they're coming to protest, that's fine. But if they're coming to riot, as they did in Charlottesville, the police, the FBI, and all of the law enforcement agencies have to take a stand and try to address it.
Who are you referring to, Lou? Who are you referring to, Lou? The people who ran over those innocent civilians, that was a white racist supremacist. The people who attacked DeAndre Harris, those were white racist supremacists. I don't understand this both-siderism and moral equivalence that you're trying to perpetrate here. Let's call it what it is. This is racism. And until you unequivocally, and the President of the United States unequivocally attacks that, we will never be able to solve this problem. Stop pussyfooting around the issue. Deal with the real problem.
Was one individual. That was one individual.
And the president hasn't condemned that one individual.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. And there's a delay here with the Skype, Lou, and that's going to be a frustration we're all going to try to work through on this. But the vice president, the attorney general, Republican elected lawmakers, all of them coming out not only to call out not multiple hate groups, not other hate groups, but white supremacists, neo-Nazis, on the ground. They were there. That's what started it. Don't you agree?
I think that there were a number of groups that started it, and I think that clearly the white supremacists...
Are you saying the vice president's wrong now and the attorney general's wrong now?
I never said the vice president is wrong. What I'm saying is that we should be condemning all of the groups that are creating the anarchy in this country, and they should all be dealt with accordingly. I think the white supremacists...
What group was attacking people with poles? What group was running over people with cars? Those were not the people who were protesting. Those were the people those were the white supremacists. I'm sick of this moral equivalence, Lou. This is not acceptable behavior from people who come on television and talk about our country as if we didn't have a history of slavery and segregation and still have a continuation and perpetuation of racism in this country. And it doesn't help when the President of the United States refuses to stand up to that.
Here's the thing. You say that we need to call out everybody. Here's the thing. I want to get Ron on this, but Lou, I want to ask you this. Donald Trump over and over again has said you need to call out the enemy and call the enemy out by name. He said that about radical Islamic terrorism more times than I can count. He's calling out the CEO of a pharmaceutical company very quickly and has no problems rushing to judgment on that. Why then isn't he calling out white supremacists for this?
I think the president called out the white supremacists. He could have called them out more directly, of course. And I think he will do so. The statement that came out yesterday was very clear and concise on that particular subject. What happened in Charlottesville was wrong. What happened in Missouri a year and a half ago was wrong. These things are all wrong and should be condemned by all sides. This isn't a white and black issue. This is a national issue of hatred within the country that needs to end. We need to come together. And if we continue to attack nothing positive will come from it.
But let's get Ron and Keith. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
Ron, but at this point, is this just cleanup now coming from the president?
I don't think it's cleanup because I don't think the discussion is over. You know, I watch these images from the background of someone who, like, my family grew up under the Nazi regime in Germany. My father grew up in the 30s and 40s, my mother in the 40s. You know, and I'm shocked, and my parents, if they were still alive, would be shocked to see someone waving a Nazi flag in the United States. And we have to be careful of the fact that these losers, which is what they are, these flakes, these losers, these misfits who are down there in Charlottesville, deserve to be called out, but it needs to be exposed for the fact that what they're trying to do is nobody follows these guys. This is a tiny little band of misfits and losers who are desperately trying to get attention, and they're following the strategy of the mosquito. They're going to continue to sting in the hopes that they get more media attention so that they can recruit more members to their sick, twisted ideology. And we should be careful about giving them any more credibility than they have so far. These guys do not have a coherent ideology. These guys would have no idea how to survive under the type of regime that they're advocating
It's a
for.
Nazi ideology. That's
which is
coherent in the sense that they know exactly how they feel.
Which is amazing that these folks are importing an ideology from Europe. This is not an American ideology that they're espousing. Nazi is a European concept, as is Marxism, and it's shocking that these guys are advocating for something.
I'm not here to give more time. Believe me, I would.
Oh, I agree.
Be nothing more than happy, Ron, and all of us would, to ignore misfits and mosquitoes. But right now, this is an issue that has raised to the presidential level because, again, President Trump is one who has no problem jumping to a conclusion before all the facts are known. Sometimes he is right. Sometimes he is inaccurate. If you look in the attack in the casino in the Philippines, for one example, when he jumps to these conclusions. But why do you see this hesitancy, this vagueness, and why do you think he feels that he needs to be vague at this moment with this kind of attack?
I think he's going to be more specific today. I think that's absolutely called for. I think that these white supremacists, these neo-Nazis, these KKK, misfits and losers down there in Charlottesville need to be called out specifically. But then it has to go further. We have to call out specifically why it is that what they're espousing is wrong. Because it's been some time since we defeated the Nazis the last time in World War II, and we need to remind people why people of all backgrounds can succeed in America. Of every religious background, of every racial background can succeed. That case needs to be made. So it needs to be more than just calling these people out. But we have to. Everybody has to make the case.
But it starts there. I think it starts
Ron,
there.
yes, can I just say something?
But it has to go beyond that, too.
Ron, can I just say something? It's Monday. This attack happened on Saturday. They were marching with torches on Friday. It's taken 3 days, an entire weekend, for the President of the United States to respond to racist, murdering white supremacists. If Barack Obama had been President of the United States and waited 3 days to respond to a terrorist attack from radical Islamic extremists, as President Trump calls them, he would have excoriated Obama for doing that. And you know that. So the hypocrisy is stunning here. And unfortunately, the President of the United States does not understand he cannot just be president of his base. He keeps trying to cater to those base, racist and white supremacists and deplorables. But he has to be president of the entire United States of America. He has to reach out and ask for unity, which he attempted to do on Saturday in this ambiguous speech. And on Sunday, he released an ad attacking his enemies. And today, he's attacking the black CEO of a pharmaceutical company. This is not how you build unity in our country. This is how you build more divisiveness, and Donald Trump is directly responsible for that.
Go ahead, Lou.
How dare I what?
How dare you call Trump supporters racist, sir?
Oh, my God.
This is
the fact that you stand up here and defend Nazis shows that you are a racist, sir. Don't you dare tell me what I can't call out. Trump's people are supporting racism and white supremacism. That needs to be called out directly. How dare you call me out as African American for calling you out?
Hang on.
How dare you call Trump supporters?
How dare you call me? Well, first of all, not all Trump supporters are racist, but those who don't stand up and defend. I didn't say the O word, but those who don't stand up and call out the racism and white supremacy that's coming from Trump and Steve Bannon and Sebastian Gorka and Steve Miller in the White House, those people are racist and they need to be called out for it. I will not make apologies for that. How dare you even question me on that? You have a lot of nerve and the audacity to even come here on national television and make an accusation like that.
Lou, if no one can understand when you're both talking over, especially with the Skype connection, Lou, please go.
Yeah, it's appalling that he would call Americans, Trump supporters, racist. There are racists.
Trump supporters are racist.
Are you going to let me respond?
If you don't know that, then you are exactly the problem, sir.
Are you going to let me respond?
The people who,
I'm going to say this. Keith, made the clarification, not all Trump supporters are racist. Lou, go. With that in mind, go.
This is a